History: Rubber in Malaysia. It was introduced by a British colony to Singapore in 1877 via Brazil, Kew Garden and Sri Lanka and London. In 1890 the production increased drastically due to high demand. Production of rubber. In 1930s Malaysia produced half of the world rubber. Before independence the production belonged to the European before switched to Malaysia. Declining prices and competition forced many farmers to abandon. Between 1999 and 2004, 300,000 hectares from 1.4 million hectares of planted rubber were abandoned due to the invention of synthetic rubber in the Western. So many have given up on rubber that some Malaysia rubber manufacturer have to import rubber and that make Malaysia as one of the largest rubber importer. Traditionally, just under half of Malaysia rubber production come from small farmer that farm in estate and small plantation. In 1990s centuries, a typical rubber tapper that spend about 6 hours a day will manage to tap about 400 trees. It make them to gain 400 ringgit a month. Challenge and sustain rubber industry in Malaysia. Economical issue. Fluctuation in natural rubber supply is due to production cut and shifting towards other more profitable crops like palm oil cultivation. Prices were fluctuating and volatile over the past 10 years, causing the rising prices for tires and other rubber-based products. Various reasons that cause fluctuation in supply and demand, such as climate change, population growth, and economic developments. Ethical issues. For the rubber production workers, the working conditions are rough, however they only can get little pay, whereas the companies get very good earnings. The lack of specialized organization and management agencies and professional team. Most workers have no formal training to grow, collect and produce rubber. Social issues. All the workers come from the rural area that sell their own harvest to the seller by their own, which conclude that there is no future saving, KWSP, SOXO, EPF, like others workers. Malaysia's younger generation is not that keen to enter upstream rubber industry owing to the perceived lack socio-economic opportunities available. The government regulations, regarding benefits and wages to local worker are more stringent and taxes higher. Environment issues. Natural rubber processing sector consumes tons of water and energy and uses large amounts of harmful chemicals like any other production factories. On a national level, unsustainable land use causes soil erosion, air and water pollution. Amount of moon needed to replace large amount of trees. The factories emit very harmful smoke particles and aerosols into the air, so a proper air pollution control like the ESP, electrostatic precipitator, is required to handle the uncontrollable emission of hazardous smoke. Alternatives. Ways. Economical issue. As we know, Malaysia Rubber Board, or MRB, is the powerful arm of the Malaysia rubber industry. Have found a few solutions for this issues. First, the creation of the new technologies is to implementing agencies that will introduce these technologies to smallholders to increase both their productivity and income. Second, MRB continues to enhance its research and development programs to strengthen the value added and to sustain the sustainability of the sector in the selected areas of the research and development. Third, to implement the Rubber Production Incentive, IPG, for Peninsular, Sabah, and Sarawak. In March 2020, the average price for farm gate rubber for cup lumps stood at 1 ringgit 95 cent per kilogram in Peninsular Malaysia, 1 ringgit 60 cent per kilogram in Sabah and 1 ringgit 80 cent in Sarawak. Fourth, to enlarge planting or to about 1.2 million hectares by cutting down old rubber trees to plant new high-yielding clones tree as it has of high demand. Ethical issues. Providing training for smallholders with the support of Rubber Industry Smallholders Development Authority, RISDA, and Sabah Rubber Industry Board, SRIB, both government implement agencies named Good Agricultural Practices, GAP, to ensure ongoing replanting and to adopt the latest harvesting technique. The existence of Monsoon Aid Payment, BMT, which to ensure the welfare of smallholders and rubber tappers who are guaranteed this assistance during the monsoon season. Social issues. Firstly, employer need to ensure the money contribution deducted from the employee salary and remitted to their EPF. If they fail to do so, they will be charged under Section 43(2) of the EPF Act 1991. For the SOXO, Employees should be insured against certain contingency which our Social Security organization has provided under Section 1 of the SOCSO Act 1969. Environment issues. The responsible company need to apply engineering control. The term engineering controls covers a broad spectrum of possible interventions that are intended to reduce worker exposure to chemical, physical and biological agents. For hazardous waste need to be listed on the manifest and state for the disposal at hazardous waste site. For non-hazardous waste, it need to be sent to the local sanitary landfill or industrial landfill to be disposed. Meanwhile, to reduce the air pollution, emission control equipment need to be used for the processes that involve dangerous gases. Emission control equipment, it can be used as solvent recovery system or thermal oxidizer to reduce the air pollution.